Well, we got one more day. One more day till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Hey, this has been interesting to do this stuff here. But I got to say something right now. I was going to do a convention in November up in Strongsville where the old Cinema Wasteland Hotel was. I'm not doing a convention. I'm not doing any more of these because the simple reason is, and this goes what happened in Lewiston, Maine, and a bunch of other shit, that there are too many fucking knuckleheads walking around that are unhinged, that have weapons, and especially in this state because there's no more concealed carry permits. You can just walk around with a fucking gun in your pocket. And I'm not knocking conventions, but basically conventions have security that is made up of people's friends or some bouncers at bars or whatever. I don't see any professional security at these conventions. And I know at one convention, and it's no big secret, it was chiller a couple years ago, someone got stabbed. So being that this shit with these guns and crazy fucking people and everything else is so out of hand, I'm going to err on the side of caution and stay home because honestly, somebody walked into these fucking places and started shooting, it's going to be a fucking mess. And I hate to even think of what would happen, but for my own sanity and my own safety, I'm going to basically stay out of these things until maybe some fucking sanity returns to this country, which I fucking doubt. But anyway, got two for you today, two goodies. Let's see, I keep writing things down. Fiend Without a Face from 1958. Yep. This was a real fucking weird one. It was directed by Arthur Crabtree, who, according to star Marshall Thompson, hardly ever showed up for work, felt the film was beneath him, and it wound up that Marshall Thompson directed the bulk of the movie. Arthur Crabtree the next year went on to direct Horrors of the Black Museum, so I guess that wasn't beneath him. But anyway, this film concerns an atomic station up on the border of, up in Canada, on the border of the U.S. and Canada. And this one scientist has been playing around with thought control, thought projection, and taps into the atomic energy. And all of a sudden, some strange deaths are following. Like people just grab themselves around the back of the head and fall back and lay there with this expression on their face, which sort of mirrors the expression on my face when I open my gas bill lately. But anyway, after 4 or 5 of these deaths, the citizens are sort of outraged and want the base gone. But what happened was this scientist who was sending out trying this thought transfer had actually created creatures that basically, when they did the autopsy on the victims, they found that they were not only missing a brain, they were missing a spinal cord as well. So all of a sudden, somehow these things get a hold of this atomic plant and fuck it up so it can't shut down, and the more atomic energy radiated, these things become visible. And they're basically brains with antennas with a spinal cord. And they jump on people, wrap around, and basically suck more shit out of them. So there was a big to-do, I think, with British censorship, because when people shot the brains, they bled. You know, blood packs popped out, and they gurgled and did all kinds of other shit. So the trick was that basically, although this was going on, somebody had to shut down the atomic plant, had to blow it up. So that's what happened, and when the plant is blown up, these creatures sort of like dissolve into the mist. The effects are great in this thing. It takes, almost midway to the film to get to see these things. But man, whatever, special effects crew was behind this was fucking great. And supposedly somebody bought the rights to remake it or do a sequel, and they were all, hot to do this. And this would have looked fucking great today with all the high-tech shit we got, but somehow it fell through and we got more Halloweens and Friday the 13th instead. So, but on to another classic. This is one of my favorite black and white ones of all times. Beast from Haunted Cave, 1959. Starts out as a heist movie as this little gang led by Frank Wolf, which included Wally Campo and Richard Sinatra, are going to do a bank heist. And basically, to divert the police, they decide to blow up an old abandoned mine. So Marty, the Richard Sinatra character, goes up there with the girl, and they see in the mine this remnants of an egg that just hatched. Well, he sets the bomb up without her knowing about it. While they're making out, all of a sudden, this thing comes out and grabs her and pulls her in the cave. He runs back and tells the rest of the guys this, but they honestly don't believe him. So the cave blows up. In the diversion, they rob the bank and are cross-country skiing with this guy, Gil. Now it's Frank Wolf, his character, Sheila, his girlfriend, supposedly, and two henchmen, Wally Campo and Richard Sinatra. The thing is actually following them across the snowbound Dakotas. This was shot in Deadwood, South Dakota, I believe, by both of the Cormans, Gene and Roger. So this thing is actually following them across the thing. And there's one creepy scene in the middle of the night that Marty wakes up hearing something and gets his flashlight and goes out and finds the girl cocooned in the crotch of a tree, and he shows the flashlight on her and her eyes open, and it scares the shit out of people. So then this thing pops out, he shoots at it, goes back, and they go to Gil's little cabin where he has an Indian woman, Shoshone housekeeper, and this thing attacks again and drags off the housekeeper, who the Wally Campo character became enamored of. So he goes looking for her and finds her cocooned in a cave. Now, Marty has always thought that this thing was after him and convinces Frank Wolf to go after it. Sheila and Gil have taken off and are hiding somewhere, and it's all in the cave. Wally Campo tries to save the Indian woman and the other girl, who's pretty much dead, and it winds up this creature is some kind of big blood-sucking mosquito type thing, and it drains the girl's blood, attacks Wally. Now they're both cocooned to the wall, and both of them have their blood sucked. Well, the other two get in there and are trying to keep the creature away when Frank Wolf and Marty arrive. Frank is killed by the creature. Marty is mortally wounded and manages to fire 2 flare guns into the thing, setting it on fire and ending the movie. Another movie that we shot at the same time was Ski Patrol, a war movie with basically the same cast. Frank Wolf actually emigrated out to Italy and made a big smash in a big A picture over there, but then did a lot of spaghetti westerns over there, and unfortunately he suffered from depression and committed suicide. Richard Sinatra was actually the cousin of Frank Sinatra, and unfortunately he died of cancer at age 43, so he did a couple other things, including some TV stuff, but other than that, he never realized his full potential because he passed away too soon. So both of these films are really, really good and should be checked out. And, well, tomorrow's Halloween. We got a little special for that. And then we'll be back to whatever I'm going to do. And just so everybody knows, the good folks at Fusebox.com have put together a website for me. It's 42ndstreetpete.net, where you can buy the 2 magazines I have out, the books, and whatever else I decide to sell down the line. So it was very cool of them to do that, and I thank Mark, Milton, Jamie for putting it together, and hopefully it'll do something here and give you people something to read, when you're not listening to my bullshit here. So until next time, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the flip side.